God wants us to help the Iranian people, to free them from this idolatry of worshiping death. And this is exactly what we do. And this is why we have so many miracles, very clear miracles that everybody can see that.
Give
Um,
an example to some of our listeners who are saying, "What miracles? I didn't see the skies open up and something." So
okay, then
please.
let's talk about the statistics. If there were, let's say, 3,000 attacks of airplanes, there are ratios of airplanes that are damaged in the way, or all kinds of things. Zero, nothing. As
Israel
we
has
could
not
see, the
lost any
American,
aweroplanes or pilots or anything.
yeah, like for instance,
Miraculous.
we'll see the American had lost few airplanes. We didn't even one, and we're way much far away from
Tinier.
Iran,
Yep.
and tiny and small country compared to Iran, and still we control and please, if we talked about the names, let's take the name Hamanai. Hamanai in Persian is from Haman, from Haman, from Haman.
Hmm.
Hamanai. He is
Wow.
exactly the descendants of Haman.
I'm very, very intrigued to have on the show today Rav and Dayan Meir HaLevi. He is the English spokesperson of the Nacient Sanhedrin. Now, he sent me recently a very interesting article from Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz from Israel365news.com. You can check it out there. And it's entitled Sanhedrin Makes Stunning Claim. Persia's founding prophet was the biblical Mordechai. This is from the Purim Story. Wow, I have never heard that before. I am extremely intrigued. So, where would you like to start?
Well, let's start with Mordechai. Let's start with him. In the Megillah, it says very clearly that Rabim me'amei haaretz mityahadim. Many of the nations are becoming not Jewish, but actually nowadays we call it Noahide. Mityahadim, that means accepting the belief in one God, accepting to know that we have to talk, good things, not bad things, and many other elements, which is in as part of the let's go to this. Let's start with this. My family, we're a Levite, a Levi. We're from the Levite tribe. We were at Mount Sinai. We received from God. God revealed himself to the whole world. And my family was there in Mount Sinai. And we received from God what he wants from us. And we are the chosen people. And always I ask, chosen for what? What we were chosen for. We were chosen to share with all of the whole world how to worship God the way God wants it, not the way we want it. We don't want to rule you. We don't need to. But the most important thing is that you will prosper, and the whole world will prosper. Now we receive it from God. Now, since there was a Sanhedrin, Mordechai in the Megillah,
Explain what a Sanhedrin is very briefly for people who don't know.
Sanhedrin is the consulate of the elders. The 70, it started with Moses, that God told Moses, gather me 70 elders of the Israel, and uh, and they will be the council. We will do their like a brainstorming of everything that is needed to guide and instruct the whole nation. This is the Sanhedrin. And Mordechai, which in the Megillah was the president of the Sanhedrin on that time. And when he received the power, he was praying to God that the Haman will not succeed, and then um, the king gave him the power to be his second, the ruler of the countries of 127. Then he taught everybody exactly as God told us on Mount Sinai. And we are the Nacient Sanhedrin. We are the descendants of Mordechai of the Sanhedrin. This is exactly what it is.
Okay, so basically, we are explaining about Mordechai from the Purim story
Yeah.
and how he is actually the prophet that brought Zoroastrianism.
Yes, he is a prophet, and why he was not called in their registrations Mordechai, because there was idolatry which called Modoch, uh, Maldoch. I mean, one of the idolatries that was there, it was almost like his name, so he could not name himself at this idolatry, which is close. So he called himself as a prophet. Zarathustra, which is the elder of Ustra. Ustra is Esther. So
Hmm,
the name is actually he changed it from Mordechai HaYehudi, that we can call him, to Zarathustra, which is the uncle of Esther, which is the
oh,
prophet or the old person of Esther.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yes, and then he taught them how exactly God told us, the whole world, to share with the whole world how to worship God the way God wants it. And they prospered on that time. They prospered very, very much until in the years the Magim, which is the Magogim, which is the Amalekites, they entered it,
Amalekites.
they entered this religious and changed it and brought to this religion the worship of fire, the worship of evil. They saw the evil as another god, and so they worship fire, death, and the evil. So this is idolatry. But this was
Idolatry.
in duration of the years. But the original religious was exactly as we received from God on Mount Sinai, how to worship God, which is the seventh commandment of Noah, and they call it Zarathustra. And when they entered this idolatry to the Zarathustra, this religion, then they lost to the Islamic conquer. Then they lost their country, and then they were conquered by the Islamic regimes, as you can see. Otherwise, they wouldn't. And nobody could ever touch them.
So I want to just very briefly review what you're saying. So basically, you're saying that from the time of the Purim story, Mordechai, who became basically like the viceroy of Persia under
Yeah.
King Ahasuerus and Esther, who were
Yes.
married, and he had brought basically the seven laws of Noah
Yeah.
to the Iranian or the Persian people, I should say,
Yes.
and they therefore clung and believed in the God of Israel, but they didn't convert to Judaism. They didn't take on
Yes.
all of the mitzvot, the commandments, but they did become like Bnei Noach or the Noahides that we know of today, that they
Exactly.
believe in the Torah, they believe in God, but they don't convert and they don't need to convert, by the way. They don't need to. And this is where Zoroastrianism came from. That's what you were saying so far?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not that
Fascinating.
they don't
Okay.
need to. God wants them to be themselves.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
all the Gentiles in the world. God doesn't want them to be Jewish. No, no, no.
Yes.
Otherwise, He would create them Jewish. No. But this is why we were chosen to share with the world how to worship God the way God wants it, not the
Now,
way we want it.
is this a reason why there before the IRGC came in, these Islamic extremists that took over the country, is this why there were pretty good relations with Israel beforehand in the early 1970s,
Exactly.
before the late
Because it's
1970s
very
when they came in?
similar. It's
Hmm.
very similar. It's actually the Noahide. Okay, they had also idolatry inside, as I told you, during the years, 2700 years. So idolatry penetrate the Zarathustra, this religion.
That's how you say it in
Uh,
Hebrew, right? Or in
yeah,
Persian when you say
Zarathustra. This is in Hebrew. Yeah,
Zarathustra.
actually, it's
Okay.
also in Persian.
Okay.
Persian. So this is the way. This is why they lost. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Nobody could touch them. They will prosper. And more than that, I'm telling them, as I'm telling the Persian people, who if anyone knows people that were exiled from Iran, tell them that the way they can be another, they can prosper again and thrive and enjoy life is to come back to their original religion, which is the Noahide. They can know exactly like Noahide. And not only come back to that, to take out the idolatry from the previous religions, which is to worship fire and to worship death. And actually, the regime right now is actually worshiping death, as we can see, as the Hamas and the Hezbollah, they worship death, which is they worship the evil side of the world, but they don't worship God. But this is not the way God wants it.
I want you to go into more detail about the connection again between the name Mordechai and Mordok with the
Okay,
religion.
there was idolatry, which is called Moldoch.
How would you spell that?
Moldoch. I don't know in English, but in Hebrew,
Mordach, like with a
Moldoch.
chet at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah? Like
yeah.
Mordechai. Okay, Mordach.
So this is why Mordechai did not want to have this religion name on him, because people can, can do the mistake of doing the idolatry of Moldoch, which is not the seven commandment of Noah. So this is why he changed it to Zarathustra, which is, and in the Megillah it says Dod Esther, the uncle of Esther, which it says very clearly, the elder of Esther, and so on, which is exactly the meaning of Zarathustra.
Wow. Uh, King Cyrus. A lot of Israelis today, for anyone who doesn't know who Cyrus was, in Hebrew it's Koresh, but he was a Persian king that was letting the Jewish people return to Judea, to the land of Israel, to rebuild the temple. He even helped to finance a lot of it. And this was an amazing thing. And a lot of Israelis today are saying, hey, Iranian people or Persian people, we are essentially friends. Look how we worked together then. And today we're in essence paying you back in a sense of we're going to free you now or help free you now from this evil Islamic regime so you too can have your freedom and your destiny in front of you. What do you have to say about that?
This is exactly the issue. Please do understand, Koresh, which is Cyrus, he was called by the prophet Isaiah a Messiah, Koresh Meshichi. I mean, my
Anointed one.
Messiah.
Anointed.
Yes, of Cyrus. And actually God gave Cyrus the order to build the temple. And more than that, all the kings after Cyrus, they financed the temple for almost 200 years. All the sacrifice and everything, and to make it beautiful and so on and so on, all the gold and a lot of treasures they brought to the temple. So this is why they thrive. The Persian thrived for many years, and they had the religions that God wants them to have. So this is exactly the issue. Very, very simple. And they can come back to this right now. If they will take out from their religion the death worship and the fire worship, they will thrive again. Exactly. And please understand, we in Israel, let's have it now. We in Israel are, let's say, 10 million people. In Iran right now, it's 90 million. Now, the land of the Persian, the Iranian land is 60 or 70 times bigger than Israel. Please understand. I mean, the proportions. And the only way that we can help them is only because God is with us. God wants us to help the Iranian people. to free them from this idolatry of worshiping death. And this is exactly what we do. And this is why we have so many miracles, very clear miracles that everybody can see that.
Give an example to some of our listeners who are saying, "What miracles? I didn't see the skies open up and something." So,
Okay, let's talk about the statistics. If there were, let's say, 3,000 attacks of airplanes, there are ratios of airplanes that are damaged in the way, or all kinds of things. Zero, nothing. As
Israel
we
has
can
not
see, the
lost any
American,
airplanes or pilots or anything.
yeah, like for instance,
Miraculous.
we'll see the American had lost few airplanes. We didn't even one, and we're way much far away from
Tinier.
Iran,
Yep.
and tiny and small country compared to Iran, and still we control and please, if we talked about the names, let's take the name Hamanai. Hamanai in Persian is from Haman, from Haman, from Haman. Hamanai. He is
Wow.
exactly the descendants of Haman, and he had many interviewed, and they told him you can be. Let's talk about this. Iran was for at least 11 times bigger in economics, the GDP for many years from Israel, 11 times bigger than Israel. And he had such a big country, such a lot of people, and they asked him, "What do you want to do? What is your dream?" His dream was to destroy
Israel.
Israel. This is obsession. This is something,
Insane.
insane,
Yeah.
insane. Why you want that? Why you have such a big country, such a beautiful country, such a beautiful nation? Why you want that? This is because he has this obsession, this insane obsession, as Amalekite, which is a man, and there is no other explanation. How can it be? And how can we, as a small country, very small country compared to Iran, defeat them? In the first day, we killed Hamanai and all the leadership,
We killed Haman.
and his descendants
And
of
it
Haman.
started on Purim.
And it started on
Or
Shabbat Zachor,
yes, right
which is
before. Yeah.
yeah. So
Amazing, amazing. It is miraculous.
this is the way God talks to us and tell us, "Oh, my beloved children, this is exactly the same thing. This is exactly the same battle that we had 2,700 years ago. This is exactly the same thing." So we are in the same. We are living the history again. But now we are on the strong side. We're not under the Persian Empire. We're in Israel, and we believe as a Israeli nation, believe in God, in one God, and the good in the God. So this is exactly what we share with all the Iranian people. Please worship God the way God wants it. This is what we ask you, and if you'll do that, God will eliminate this regime very, very fast, and you will be able to thrive and prosper and enjoy life the way God wants us.
Absolutely. And it says that those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will see curses happen, bad things happen.
Yeah,
So
this is for the whole world, but for the Iranian, for the Persian, because we have this account with Cyrus, sorry, with Cyrus, then it's more than that. We are paying them back to save them from the religious of death. We bring them to the religious of worshiping the true living God.
it says in this article that it talks about a demon, Hormine. And tell us, if you can, just a tiny bit about that. And also, does that have to do with the name given for the Strait of Hormuz? Since this
Yes,
is
yes. In the Gemara, it says very, very clearly that then one of the names of God is Hormuz. This is one in the Gemara. It said in our um, Gemara, and since they divided to the God of the good side and the God of the bad side. This is why they said very few hundred years ago that before Gog and Magog war, it will be the Hormuz place which will, let's say, ignite the whole Third World War, which we can see that right now. We see it very
Amazing.
clearly. Amazing, amazing. But so this is exactly the place. This is exactly the battle between the good and the bad, which we know, which we have it, but the bad doesn't have its own God. We have only one God that creates everything. And they also created the bad also for certain his own reasons, but it will be eliminated very shortly.
Yeah, and so we can have free will. We have to have that possibility
Yes.
of doing something that takes us away from God and our closeness with Him. So we are reading here also that Reza Pahlavi, which is the son of the late Shah of Iran, and the Iranians that are against the IRGC are calling him King Pahlavi, and he has come out and also said that he wants to have good relations with Israel and even expand the Abraham Accords into something bigger, additional. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, at the moment we'll worship the same God. The moment we'll worship the same God with the same method that God wants us, I mean, the Persian, then of course we can expand the Abraham Accord. And now all the Gulf countries are saying the only one that came out to rescue the Emirates was Israel. No one else. Everybody told them, everybody, they gave a lot of money, but nobody in the to Egypt, to all the countries, no one came to save them. We sent soldiers with Iron Dome and others, and it
The
will be exactly the
UAE.
same thing to
Mhm.
uh, Iran at the moment they will worship God the way God wants it. Very simple, and they'll thrive. I'm telling you. And we can. They're very smart. We have a lot of Iranian Jews that came from Iran, and they're very smart, very wise, and they're doing here a lot of high tech, a lot of and it will change dramatically everything in their country. But the key is worshiping God the way God wants it. Not the fire, not the bed, not the death. This is very simple, very simple.
Do you have connections with leaders of the Iranian people that want to oust the regime and who are of the Zoroastrianism religion?
Yes.
How are they taking this? Because many of them probably do not know the roots where their religion came from. As you're saying, it was started with Mordechai teaching the seven laws of Noah, how to believe in the one God, which they are a monotheistic religion, which is rare, especially in those days when paganism was everywhere and idol worshiping. How are they taking to this news that you are putting out here?
Most of them are thrilled. First, we have ordained rabbis that they're from Iran and they speak the language, the Persian,
Mhm.
and they are broadcasting on a daily basis to the Iranian people. So we have a very good connections with many groups in Iran and many groups outside of Iran, and they're enthusiastic about it. And I'm sure it will change the reality very shortly. But they have to do their work, as I told them. They have to do the work of cleaning the Zarathustra from the idolatry, and then they will thrive immediately. There will be no problem
So
immediately.
I'm not sure.
And they're very enthusiastic about it.
I'm very unfamiliar with Zoroastrianism, and I hope I'm saying it right even.
Yeah, yeah.
Do their leadership, whether they're priests or however they refer to their leaders, their spiritual leaders, uh, are you are you or the Sanhedrin in touch with them, and are they receptive to this to teach their people that they have to separate this idea of two or three warring gods and just understand that there's the one creator of the universe and he creates everything and everything works for him?
No, we with their let's say their religious leaders. No, we don't have yet the connection, but we will have for sure. But like we had with the Sanhedrin, we had a lot of connection with the Islamic world and the Christian world. We had many meetings with muftis in UK, in Turkey, in Jordan. We were invited to Saudi Arabia, but we did not go due to security reasons. So we had a lot of interreligious meetings. We didn't come to that as yet, not yet, but I'm sure that we will very shortly.
I
Since
want
we have connection to a lot of Persian and Iranian people outside of Iran and inside.
I've been interviewing a few different rabbis, and I have some planned in the future as well, asking them about the end times, the times of the Mashiach, the Messiah, the Geula, the redemption, and there's many different ways to look at the texts in the Tanakh, in the Bible, and interpret them. Who is going to be Gog? Who is going to be who's Magog? How is this all going to unfold in front of us? Do you want to make a remark about that? Anything that you see unfolding with this war with Iran, how things are going to play out, and what we're going to possibly be seeing in the future?
Okay, let me just start with the Islamic world. Okay, we had a lot of meetings with Mufti. Mufti is like the chief person in every country. This is a Mufti. So we had many meetings with the Mufti. They, like for instance, they become to a conclusion that the Mahdi and the Messiah is the same person. Okay, and they told us that. We were very surprised, but okay. And what is Muslim in the Muslim world? Muslim is actually Muslim in Hebrew, which is perfect. Whomever talked to God,
Interesting.
hey,
Mushlam for anyone.
whoever talked to God is Muslim. He is perfect. He talked to God. Who was Muslim? Ibrahim. I mean Abraham. Who else? Moses, Moshe. Okay. So whomever talked to God is Muslim in their religion. And according to them, in the meetings that we had in Turkey, many meetings, the Mahdi and the Messiah is the same person. So I've been in many countries, many Muslim countries like ex-Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, many places, Sri Lanka, many places, and we met Muslim. And so I told them, according to the Quran, who was Muslim? Who was perfect? Ibrahim, I'm from Ibrahim. Who was Moses? Musa, I'm from Musa. I'm a Levite from descendants of Musa, Moses. So, and the Mahdi and the Messiah will be the same person. So actually, our history and our future is the same. So what is the problem now? So everybody says, well, really, what is the problem? It's the same thing. So I told them the extremists, the crazy people, the one that worship death. And then and it penetrated to the Islam also, which is it was I don't want to get into history, but it penetrated to the Islam also, the Wahhabi and the Shia. Okay, they worship death exactly as the Hamas does, exactly as the Hezbollah does. So the moment will clean, and then I come with a question. What do you think? Does God want that those crazy people, those extremists, will kill over 450,000 people every year of good Muslims and good Jewish? Everybody says no. And then I explained to them that when my family were at Mount Sinai, we received the seventh commandment of Noah to the world, and it's written in the Quran. Everything is in the Quran. So the moment they will overcome, the Islamic world will overcome the extremists, the crazy people, the one that worship death, then we will have we can work together immediately. We can join together, and everybody will prosper. Very simple. Very simple. And now what's going on now is that they export this death to all the European countries, which will gonna fall down. We can see that. I mean, it's going. So Gog and Magog, you asked about that, it will be between the people that worship death and people that worship God. This will be the real war, the third world
Mm.
war. And the Chafetz Chaim said it many, many years ago. Let's say, about 80 years ago, he said that the third world war will be about religion. So it will be about faith. What we believe. We believe in God, the true living God that revealed himself to the world, or the death God, the God that death or evil or there you have many names, Lucifer and all the names, but it's the same thing, the same evil. So this is exactly what it's going to be.
How do you see the war playing out with Iran? Do you think that the West is going to win, or do you think that the IRGC, because they don't care what happens to them and they don't mind dying and they certainly don't mind killing, will just go until the very end to destroy the world? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, there are many scripts in the Bible. There are many scripts in the prophets, in the in the Torah, in Midrashim we call it Midrash. There are about 200 scripts. So this is why the Rambam, the Maimonides, said we will not know how it's going to be until it will be.
Mhm.
So because there are many subscripts, it's not only the main script; there are subscripts. Now, since there is a very, very big change in the world towards worshiping God, the true living God, then it will be a much merciful way than all the scripts. And there are many scripts, as I told you. So we cannot say exactly how it's going to be, but we know it's going to be. We know that the good will prevail. We know that. It's definite. It's
In
not
the end,
maybe.
right. But couldn't it prevail either way? That if the Americans win, we're going to still have Mashiach. And if the Iranians win and there's a lot of destruction in the world, the
No,
Mashiach is also going to come. So,
no, exactly what I told you. They worship death. At the moment there is religious, which is the Shia, they worship death. You can see they have every year they're jumping above the fire, and they take their children above the fire. Every year they have this. So this is exactly as we call it the Molech. This is exactly the idolatry that is forbidden in the Torah. And
mhm.
it's forbidden also for the Noahide, for the whole nations. So as long as they worship death and the fire and so on, then they will not be part of the redemption. But the moment they will clean themselves from this idolatry, they'll prosper. They can they can be a very rich country. They were a very rich country, 11 times bigger than Israel. I'm talking economically.
Mm.
So they just need to have the right key to just thrive and richness. That's all.
Is there anything that you want to say that I have not asked you?
Yeah, what I want to whomever is listening that knows people from Iran, either outside of Iran or inside Iran, please give them this message. Clean um, the religion
Idolatry
you have,
from
clean it from death and fire, clean it from
mm,
idolatry, and you'll prosper. And the only way to clean it up is that you will clean it up. You will ask all your surrounding to clean it up. And if you need any help, we are here to help. This is exactly what we were chosen for by God. This is the role that God gave us as Bnei Israel, as the Son of God. And I'm sure we'll have a very, very beautiful future if we'll all worship the same God, same true living God.
and with the idea of Judaism that we are to be good to each other and not to uh they say Islam is like to submit yourself. You have to I'm trying to remember the word. but
Yes,
it's submission basically.
yes, submission.
And in Judaism, we want things to be done in a very kind and benevolent way where people won't be forced, but they'll choose it because they'll see it's right and they'll see it's good and they'll want and desire that.
Yes. And the moment you know that you're connected to the true living God, that is loving and give all the prosperity that and he gave us this the free will, free choice. We can choose. So we must choose the good. And the moment we'll choose good, and this is, by the way, this is a Zarathustra. This is exactly the religion to talk only about the good things and not to talk about bad things. This is exactly the what Zarathustra taught them, which is Mordechai the He taught them that this is exactly what he taught them. But okay, idolatry penetrates this religion, so they have to clean it. And we are here to help. Not for ourselves. So we're fine with God. You can see we have our miracles, but for them, then they will be part of the good side of the world, and they will be in the redemption. Very, very simple. And one more thing I want to say: whomever of the Gentiles that is accepting the seventh commandment of Noah in front of Jewish court, they receives three things. First, they receive part of neshama. It's a spiritual side. There is soul, which is activating the body, spirit, which is activating the speaking, and they receive neshama, another spiritual entity, let's call it this way.
What was the word you used?
Part of
The
neshama.
first one's neshama, and the second one?
Spirit, ruach.
Right. No, but I thought, okay, you were talking neshama and then shama, you said?
Neshama, no,
okay, neshama. All right.
Okay. So every person in the world has spirit and soul and spirit. Soul activates the body, spirit activates the speaking, and the moment they worship God, accept the seventh commandment of Noah, they receive another thing which is called neshama. Now, with this neshama,
that's what I was asking. Neshama.
Neshama.
Okay. Neshama. Okay.
With this neshama, they receive part of the next world, and they are called righteous among the nations. So, whomever is doing it, he is connected to God the way God wants it. Not and God prefers, and whenever we were also with the Noahide court. We had many meetings with many people from all over the world, and I told them, God preferred to have a good Gentile that accept the seventh commandment of Noah than to become a bad Jew, a bad Jewish. Don't convert to Judaism. It's very hard. Don't do that. But be yourself. Be yourself. And the moment any Gentile that are accepting the seventh commandment of Noah, he is called righteous among the nations. He received part of the next world, and he receives part of the neshama. And with the neshama, he is connected to God. Very, very simple. Very simple. So this applies also to the Persian people. Exactly the same thing. And the moment they will accept their old religious, their true old religion, not with idolatry, they will prosper. I mean, very, very short. And it will be very easy to take out this regime, this deadly regime that we can see now.
Last question. For those watching that are not Jewish and say, yes, I do believe in the God of Israel, in the Torah. I'm not looking to convert, which is what you're not supposed to. You don't need to convert.
Exactly.
In fact, we tell people, go back home. You don't need to convert. And what would you suggest that they do? What's the next step for them? Who do they go to see?
The next step is we have television, Noahide television. They can join us. They can join, and then
what's the website?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it.
Okay, I'll post it in the description.
And this is the first thing, and the second thing is to come to even by Zoom or something. We had many that are receiving seventh commandment of Noah. I hereby pledge in front of the Sanhedrin that I accept the seventh commandment of Noah as God told to Moses on Mount Sinai, and so on. And with that, they're they're connected to the good side of the world. And then it's learning how to how. Let me tell you a story, if I may. I
Please.
was an instructor for sailing for many years, and when I studied in the Technion, and I sailed with a good friend of mine. He was a champion of sailing on one of the sailing boats. We entered about 5 kilometers to the bay of Haifa, and I was waiting for the question, and it came. He asked me, Mayor, well, what is the story with the kippah, with the yarmulke? I told him, you're the champion of sailing, right? How you're a champion? You know all the balances, how much weight forwards and backwards, how much to the sides, how much to go towards the wind, to all the balances. Now we are Levi. My family were on Mount Sinai when God revealed himself to the world. We served God in his temple of King Solomon. We were exiled to Babylon. We stayed there for 2,500 years. And my parents came, and I was the firstborn in Israel after 2,500 years. And when God revealed himself to the world on Mount Sinai, and my family was there, he told us, my beloved son, these are the balances that I offer you. How much to work, how much to rest, how you build a family, how you build community, how you will build your business, and so on and so on. All the balances. Would you take it or not? Now he didn't answer because it's the first time that he heard about it. And we say goodbye. And two years later, I saw something when I was in yeshiva and saw something red, and it was him. He was blushing, and he was, and he become a religious, and he's now a rabbi. He has a very
Wow.
good community. So this is exactly what I'm telling you. The
What a
balances of the
story.
world, of your life, is given by God. How to live and to prosper and to thrive, and just take it. It's so simple, so simple, and it's very simple rules. It's a covenant of Noah. Very simple, and the more you'll do that, I'm sure you'll enjoy every minute of life that gave us. This is what God wants from us.
Absolutely fascinating interview. I want to thank you, Harav and Diane, Meir
My
HaLevi.
pleasure.
Thank you for being with us. And I want to have you on again sometime soon. I've had you on years ago when you
Yeah.
talked about miracles in our wars of Israel that we've had. Fascinating interview as well. But thank you again for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the audience, and thank God that brought us to this time and this opportunity. To and the God will reveal himself again. Exactly as he revealed himself on Mount Sinai, he will reveal himself again in the third temple. And only those who will worship God the way God wants it, they will be able to see God in the second time of the world. And we just offer you, we are chosen to share with you how to worship God.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I wish you a lot of happiness to enjoy every minute of life God gave us. Thank you.
Hey everyone, to make sure you can get access to all of our interviews, make sure to hit the subscribe button on both our YouTube and Rumble channels. Your click makes us all stronger. Thanks.